Adam Leal, today's referee, our master of stats in the truck today. Aid Hill tells us he awards more scrum penalties at a higher rate than any other official in the Gallagher PREM, so we'll keep an eye on how that set-piece battle develops a bit later on. Gloucester in the cherry and white, Saracens in the white and the black. And we're almost ready to rumble at a packed-out Kingsholm. Bucket list venue on the English rugby circuit, even in the hard times. As noisy and expectant as ever.
Time on, please.
Two sides who crave a victory, who desperately need a victory to round off this turbulent 2025 calendar. And no surprises, Tom Willis, he of the top of the carrying charts, takes on the first bit of heavy lifting for Sarries.
Inside, use it.
Saracens kicking just about more than anybody else in the league. That's the first time they've had one charged down all season. Bounced through to Onyama Christie, but there was a little knock-on from Malins.
He's getting the donkey treatment from the shed. Malins for spilling that one. There was a bit of a shoulder check that came in, disguised as an attempt for going for the ball.
It's the most turned over player in the Premiership this season, Max Malins. 15 of them, 12 handling errors.
Happy Christmas. He'll be delighted that you pointed that out.
Take it you didn't get anything then on Christmas Day, Jamie?
He got me a Christmas card, but he might have dropped it, I don't know.
Hold the way. Thomas, go to the back, please.
Looking forward to seeing Seb Atkinson play today.
Before the ball's in, so just control the weight and then
a difficult year with injuries, just when things has been starting to go his way in the England shirt. Played very well in the summer. Had to go off last week against Leicester, but fortunately the HIA not too bad, able to play today, so let's hope he stays fit for a while. We can see how good he can be.
Shagan takes it and calls for the mark.
Played it off his knee, you can't do that.
Doing that.
I've just given them another chance. No, I just gave you a chance to retake it from the right mark. I'm going to give them the same chance.
Oh, for me it's different though, sir.
No, I disagree.
Okay.
You know, come on. I've given them the chance to take it from the wrong mark and you the right chance.
Alrapava Ruskin's a guy that just hasn't been able to put together. You know,
basics, guys.
He was really right getting towards the pecking order in that battle for international recognition, and he's had such a torrid time, but he is so good around the field. He's a real nuisance over the ball, one of the very best jacklers in the league. Scrummages well. He just wants to put a series of games together, as do all the Gloucester faithful here. Want to see him do that.
Squint throw.
Two players competing.
From Jack Kennards. Gloucester missing a couple of hookers today. Seb Blake with a hand injury, Jack Singleton out longer term.
Yeah, just have that go when the ball comes in, lads, okay?
I can't think of anyone who's played less rugby at one club than Rapava Ruskin, can you? I mean, he's been injured so much in the last... Has he been here for 7, 8 years? How many games has he played? Maybe 110?
128 today.
128 today.
So stop-start. 27 years of age, Rapava Ruskin. He's just not had that run of game, that troublesome knee injury. Halted him time and time again. Trying to put the squeeze on Marcus Streets.
Balls away, mate, balls away.
Adam Leal says play on. Fonsail, Tompkins quickly away to Sinti. Farrell slapped it on and slapped it forwards. And Adam Leal not realising perhaps that he could have played advantage there.
Why are you seeing on that stump? Just both going up?
Both up on the mark.
Just looking at this break here, Ross Byrne flies in here, and I don't think he needs to. You can see that the tackle's been made, unless you can stop that offload. We know that defending's not the strongest part of his game, but he was a little bit at fault last week for one of Leicester's tries when he stepped in and opened up that gap for Solomon Akata to make that break. We know that there's certain players that just physically or for whatever reason aren't the best tacklers, but if you try and go and solve those without your teammates, you can often make things a lot worse for you.
I think that might have stemmed from what they've been speaking about all week, about Willis, about making sure he doesn't break the first tackle at all costs, because if he breaks the first tackle and he builds up momentum and speed, he's almost impossible then to stop from getting to the line. So they will have mentioned him all week. Let's target him. Let's make sure he makes no meters. But I agree with Ben. You don't really need to step in that situation. You've got to read the situation a bit quicker.
All done, Clarky? Yeah, it is. Good.
I mean, his stats are just remarkable, aren't they?
How do you replace a guy like that, Austin, as we see Will Butler heading for a bit of medical treatment? Tom Willis is such a unique specimen. Is there
I think that's why they've signed George Martin, because he's not like a lot of back row carriers in this league. He is in sort of other leagues, particularly France, I suppose, which is why Bordeaux was so keen for him, in that it's not about the speed he runs at. He's actually so hard to put down, because sometimes he's running really slowly in contact, so you can't use his body weight against you. So you want a big rock of a carrier, and George Martin can do that if he can stay fit. And they'll then maybe look to put in different back rowers with different skill sets and allow George Martin to do the heavy load. The one thing is, it's a lot harder to make the number of carries. Tom Willis top of the carry charts at the moment, while you're a front five player, because you have this aspect of the game, the scrummaging as well, and the line-out.
You're already seeing lots of scrummaging, aren't we? Because I think you always tend to see this in the Boxing Day or the day after Christmas game. Players, through no fault of their own, everyone's got families, they go away and they switch off. And it's very difficult to turn, that intensity in your head and the professional sportsman inside you off for one day and then immediately come back into the game. So I've seen this year after year in these games. The first 10 minutes is often really scrappy until someone gets a slap from a coach.
Sarries with the most scrum penalties in the league this season, dozen of them. Clean platform for Fonseca to weave something. Farrell running at the new man on his Prem debut. Will Knight wearing jersey 22 for Gloucester. Willis on the inside ball. Tompkins at first receiver. Tizard a bit further out, striding away from Rapava Ruskin.
Off the foot.
Conseil ricochets it off the boot. Disguised pass from Farrell to Dan.
Forward that. Got away with it.
Lucio Cinti. Dan into Fasogbon. Slipped one tackle. Penalty advantage coming Sarries' way. Conseil. Shegan, here comes the hot stepper, beats Thomas. Clement took him high. Second penalty advantage. Sarries will fancy 5 or 7 here. Not with a pass like that.
Should have finished that.
He should have finished that. I think he just turns his shoulders, Cinti, too early. If he keeps his head and shoulders forward, you'll see McFarland on the wide channel there. Really in acres of space. Chuck that ball over the top. He walks in. They're going to go quick.
Theo Dan chucking towards the posts. McFarland, carry, spinning to within a metre. Here's Willis, 3-4 jerseys around him. Another penalty milked by Saracens. Fonseca, Farrell, Daly in the line, has Malins for company. Gloucester shackle him. Fonseca, McFarland. Willis calls for it. Willis revs that big V8 engine. Dan chopped brutally. Fonseca, the miss pass to Tompkins, he's whacked, but he finds Farrell and Shegan against Thorley, inside to Daly. Wonderful cover tackle from Seb Atkinson. Here's Fonseca again, and that's not been grounded.
Brilliant cover defence from Gloucester there. Seb Atkins coming across, Thorley gets stepped on the inside. The inside defence here is really good. Great pass from Tompkins out the back. Offload, lovely pass then over the top. You think, right, Shegan's in here, step, go. That's a fabulous tackle from Atkinson. And again,
brilliant from Daly as well for that long place, because if he doesn't put the ball as far back there, he absolutely gets turned over by Thorley.
Thomas?
As I said, great scramble defence from the home side. Desperation, and they keep them out. But those penalties, that high tackle was in 5 metres from the line. They've got another penalty 5 metres from the line. Adam Lee will be starting to think about a yellow soon.
Theo Dan locks and loads again. McFarland with those long levers. Reese Carey with some more muscular ones. Helped out by Tompkins. Dan's eyes are lighting up here, and Dan squeezes his way to the whitewash. One shot, one kill for Saracens.
Well, this is one of those finishes that front row forwards are so good at. Because of what they're used to doing in the scrum, they almost pick and go and stop. And they get themselves into a scrummage position, low, watch him, and then they'll just extend when they get to the line, over the line. So he's already made one carry, gets back up, gets hit, stops into that scrum position, and then just that extension of the hips to get themselves over the line. If you can get underneath the tackler, there's very, very little the tackler can do to stop that hip drive.
All good.
Seriously.
Some stadiums fall silent when kickers are lining up the posts. Kingsholm's not one of them, but Farrell closes a few West Country mouths with a successful kick.
I think all of that stemmed really from the number of tackles they were dropping off. 20, 30, 40 metres out from their try line. If you constantly drop off that first hit and let the opposition get momentum, you end up in the red zone, and then it's very, very difficult to stop 7 points. So they've got to start making their first up tackles, Gloucester. It's going to be a long afternoon for them, and they've got the elements behind them.
They've got a scrum here, but it has been a theme for them this season. Poorest tackle completion rate in the Gallagher PREM. They're missing a quarter of their tackles on average, Austin. That's a concerningly high number.
Well, they're only in the 50% completion so far this afternoon, so yeah, it's something that they've really got to address. Having said that, Sarries as well have conceded on average 37 points in their last 4 games, which is very unlike them. Both sides conceding lots and lots of ground and lots of points.
Particularly in the back end again for Sarries, so I think that'll be a thing from the Gloucester coaching staff, is stay in this game, just stay in within range.
Nice quick reset, let's go.
When the confidence is low, as that gap starts to grow, you just feel, oh, here we go again. They can stay on the coattails of Saracens, be in range at half-time, give them such a boost that this team have a little bit of a block in their mind, a mental block caused by the results over the last few weeks.
Only Exeter with a better 22 defence than Saracens. Free kick to Gloucester. Williams away to Loader, away from Malins. From a hamstring problem, Ben Loader keen to show Kingsholm what they've been missing. Rapava Ruskin bullocking through the middle. Tompkins deals with him. Williams got the call from Atkinson. Seb Atkinson this time. Williams again. Fenter held by McFarland. Williams goes digging. Awkward for him. Freddie Thomas. Sinti and Dan and Ezekiel repel him. Williams again cannons it off the Prem debutant Will Knights. And the cheers short-lived.
Better from Gloucester. Great to see Ben Loader, the explosive, first the footwork to rock the defender back, gets past one, gets past his opposite number, and then the big fend comes out on the big boys. Not much space for him to work in there, but a glimpse of what potentially he could do, given a little bit more space on this very, very quick surface.
Stay in the scrum, please. If he pre-engages, I'll referee it, but stay in the scrum.
Christmas dinner, a big affair in the Ben Loader house, we've been told this week. Usual Christmas dinner with the turkey and the trimmings, but West African influence as well. Some jollof rice, bit of Cameroonian cuisine from his mum.
Let's go. Crouch.
Don't know if rugby players get weighed the same as Pep Guardiola's weighing his Manchester City players pre and post Christmas dinner. Maybe the wingers do.
We're away, mate. We're away. They're both stood up on the mark.
Skirting round the edge, looking for the soft shoulders.
Tackle. Gloucester, let go.
Just so confident on the ball, isn't he? He runs himself a little bit into trouble there, but then he just goes to his footwork and buys time for the cavalry to arrive from the scrum. Make sure he doesn't get isolated.
Oh, the charge down from Arthur Clark.
22.
Second time Francell's been caught.
That's 2, and that's what, there was a long ruck there. There's 2 extra bodies in.
22, charge down.
I don't know whether that's something they've spotted. He may be slightly slower in the box kick routine.
We've got to stay down. You're standing up on the mark.
Long distance, he's kicking it low. Arguably, he's trying to get some distance because the wind's so strong. So he's altered his trajectory, kicking it lower. But then you run the risk of what's happening. Yeah, it's really windy. Look at that kick.
Backwards by Gloucester. Play on.
Back on the Saracen side through Lucio Cinti. Do retain more of those restarts than any other team. Roughly 1 in 5 coming back into Saracens' hands.
So many of the other teams just bang it long, whereas Saracens see it as a potential restart, potential turnover opportunity, and a big part of the game. They're already up to halfway, back in possession.
And Yama Christie. Getting word, by the way, that Will Butler has failed his HIA, so a longer than anticipated Prem debut for young Will Knight. Reece Carey, media reporting this week that he's set to sign a new deal with Saracens.
Oh, wait, nice.
Slicey one from Farrell. The wind's taken hold of that as well. Daly can't get there. Bounce back towards Williams and McFarland. Charlie Atkinson. Yama Christie came through. That's all backwards, says the referee.
Yeah, there's a knock on.
Gloucester, I feel, just got a slight edge as the scrum. The referees allowing teams to play away from the base, but
you're both standing up on the mark.
There is a bit more pressure. We saw Willis have to get himself out of trouble on his own line a few minutes ago. A couple more times, certainly Valrapava Ruskin has been getting himself moving forward, and then it's almost come up as a set of front rows, and the referees allowed them to play, but at some point that's going to start to take its toll, and Gloucester, with the wind behind them, will hope that sooner rather than later.
Use it.
Williams. Not an easy one for Seb Atkinson to take. Thorley likewise, bashing aside Lucio Cinti. Leg drive from the Gloucester winger.
No, it's the ruck.
Williams. Seb Atkinson made his England debut over the summer. Clements and Arthur Clark. Gloucester hitting their straps here. Byrne, and then they're not. Loose one from the Irishman.
He's done his hamstring, Lodo, he's off.
Yeah. We're moving away from him now.
Ben Loader, who's just back from a hamstring problem, is down and looking in some discomfort. Bottom of your picture. And Adam Leela's going to have to stop.
I can't risk this player getting run over, he's injured. Scrum Gloucester ball.
Didn't look like he was stretching overly. Did he get his feet caught in the ground? Goes for the ball, reaches there. Yeah, it's gone. Unlucky. Maybe it's not quite right, but I think for Gloucester, though, it's all about the smaller details. And we saw this pass. Look how far he has to throw the ball. If you pick up the ball at the back of the scrum, there's 3 channels. That's channel 1, which is really hard as a scrum half to get the ball away from, particularly to your 10, because you've got to get it around your number 8's feet. Channel 2's underneath your number 8's feet, and channel 3 is on the right-hand side.
Much better from Gloucester. They're getting good leg drive and go forward, fast ball, but Saracens are a mile offside there. They'll be fuming, and maybe one of their captains just needs to get into Adam Leal's head a little bit and say they're constantly offside, and it'll just start to... If they can get that quick ball, get in behind Saracens while Saracens are backtracking, they want to make sure that that becomes an advantage, and it's not just play on because it's all happening so quick.
I think that's sad to see him go off, but you look down the Gloucester team sheet, it is a very strong side. It's quality in every position, every department. And for me, a lot of the Gloucester fans will be saying, why are we not winning more games? Why are we conceding so many points? Yes, their defence isn't good enough, but for me, it's about little details across the field in every single action. You've got to get every piece of your game perfect. That's why Bath won last year. Every part of their game is on point, and it's just tiny little things. That may be something as simple as moving the ball 1 yard to the right or 1 yard to the left in certain situations. So for me, they've got to get more attention to detail in their play.
So Gloucester forced into 2 early backline changes. Butler and Loader off. It's like it could be a recurrence of that hamstring injury that's kept him out for 2 months. Josh Hathaway is on with us now, looking for his first touch. Instead it goes inside to Thorley. Hathaway gets it now. Tompkins puts him into touch.
Oh, the offload from Atkinson here. He shapes and he uses the shoulder charge to create the opportunity. He knows exactly where Thorley is, back on his inside, bangs that shoulder with the slight fend in, and then just leaves it in the space where he's fallen out of because of the tackle.
Ludlow came through, but it's gone forwards from the flanker's hands.
Yeah, it's a great offload from Atkinson, but he's struggling now as well. There's something wrong with his foot. It's great work from Tompkins, because it's Tompkins arguably who should get in front of Thorley so he doesn't receive that ball and chase the inside, but then when he works all the way back to make that tackle, try saver. There's that ball. He gets in front of Thorley, doesn't get there, but then he keeps working. Look, reads the play very well, doesn't dive in. Because that guy on the wide, Hathaway, is rapid.
16 carries against his former club last weekend, Charlie Atkinson.
And a good response by the Saracens scrum in the last couple, but big pressure on them now.
If there's a problem with pre-engage, I'll referee it, but both tight ends are to stay in the scrum now, okay?
You'd imagine the call to Theo Dan from Willis is just drop this on your heel, get it flying straight through to my hands, and I'll pick and go as quickly as I can. They don't want to mess about and allow any extra time for Rapava Ruskin to start dropping the height and going back up again. And they get an easy get out of jail card.
Wait for the engage.
Gloucester thought about going quickly, then decided pushing the gamble button was the best option, and Seb Atkinson, oh, it's picked off by Shegan, who then gives it away himself. Ross Byrne spits it out the back to Seb Atkinson. Arthur Clark, Rapava Ruskin, the forwards getting in on the act, with all the front rows getting hands on the ball. Fasogbon to Ennard to Hathaway, steering into the 22. Williams going blind. Here's Rapava Ruskin. Third time Gloucester have been down here. No points to show for it yet. Fasogbon looking to change that. Mighty carry from the tight head. Matched by a mighty steal, but an illegal one.
Hands on the floor, unfortunately, because it was a desperate turnover from Daly. Did really well, but the go in.
Thomas Williams goes quickly. Freddie Thomas, try. Finally, Gloucester pull the trigger, and Gloucester's attacking blueprint comes to the fore.
And that's what it is, Jamie. It's got to be about pace and reaction, and Thomas Williams does exactly that. He has a little turn, he looks to the posts. There he knows there's a runner in the midfield, quick tap, lovely ball, and you're not going to stop 19 stone, 6'8" second row from 2 yards out with his head down. It's a great try from Gloucester, well worked, good reaction, and they're right back in it.
It's really nice technique in the dive to the line. Knows that the tackle's come in from that right side. He's got past Willis on that right side, so almost pivots and rotates where the gap's going to be as he dives in for the line.
Elliot Daly just asking Adam Leal why he thought it was a penalty. So his hands on the floor. So they weren't. They weren't. Went on for a while.
Pantomime season after all. Here is Daly. Hands are on this one, all right. Dinking it over the top of Byrne, and then rescued by the all-action flanker James Fenter.
Use it! Thomas, you had it. Use it. And use it. Yeah, nice. Just thank you.
I think when Elliot Daly watches that chip kick back on Monday, he's going to realise that was a huge mistake.
Right, let's have a chat with Gloucester's DOR. George Skivington's been patiently waiting to talk to us. George, I'm sure you're a bit happier now than you were a couple of minutes ago. That was an important try.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was obviously well taken by Tommy and the boys there. But yeah, it's a pretty competitive game at the moment. Obviously disappointing to concede that try with all the pressure Sarries had there, but got back in the fight. Boys are working hard. Yeah, that's where we are.
What's been said this week, George, after such a sore one last week and such a tough start to the season? What have you really nailed down on for this game?
Oh, I think, look, none of us were happy with last week. You know, we rested a few the week before and went into it thinking we'd keep a few bodies fresh, and you know, we'd worked on a few areas in the sort of Prem Cup block that we were targeting and felt we're in a pretty good spot. You know, we knew we got a tough run of fixtures, but yeah, we're just disappointed. We felt we did some good stuff last week in attack, created some opportunities, didn't take them, and then let Leicester score some pretty easy tries, and you know, that hurts when you're putting all that work in and not getting anything back, and then giving the opposition easy chances.
And just a word on Thomas Williams, George. I know you've been asked about him pre-match and through the week. What's it been like for him? Were you, as a DOR, as a club, involved in planning the announcement for Christmas Day? Would you rather that have been kept under wraps a bit longer?
No, I mean, we're not involved in the announcement, that's for sure. But I think it wasn't exactly a secret, was it? I think everyone knew where Tommy was going in that, and you know, everyone's marketing departments are working hard to promote good news, and you know, for them that's good news. So it is what it is.
George, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Gloucester conceding more maul metres than any team in England this season. Over 70 of them. Saracens about as ruthless as they come in the Prem from this sort of position. Shegan lays the platform. Carey sneaking as much as 130 kilo bloke can. Theo McFarland, wonderful take, brilliant finish. What dexterity from the Samoan, back in the team and back scoring tries.
Well, if you want to know the difference between these two teams, it's the power, isn't it? Saracens almost able to win every single one of those collisions.
I'll keep looking.
From the start of the play. They've got a little drive on. Just watch every carry. First, Shegan wins his collision. Got to do better to stop him and stop giving the momentum. Carey picks up, wins the collision. And then McFarland, powerful guy.
All good.
Low to the ground, really good leg drive, but Gloucester have almost run out of numbers.
His family couldn't afford money for a rugby ball back in Samoa as a kid, Theo McFarland. He grew up learning the game with empty bottles of Pepsi stuffed with banana leaves. He was a basketballer for his country, spotted playing basketball, dragged into the 7 set up by the great Brian Lima, a chiropractor. Either you boys been tackled by him over the years, Brian Lima?
Careful!
I'm too young.
Careful, the leg lift, thank you. Use it. And use it.
Fonsale under pressure again, cut that one away. Charlie Atkinson throwing the dummy. Maylands deals with him. Byrne. Clements thundering into Farrell, who puts his head in the spokes. Williams burns deeper this time. Enards, Atkinson taking ball and all. And Tom Willis picks up the pieces, but it's a knock-on from Sarri's hands.
Cheers, man.
Defensive set from Saracens really good there. Contrast that to what we've just spoken about at the other end of the field.
Just seems, even though they're into the element, Sarries, if they want to make ground, they can. They made a load of ground out wide with a clever little kick from Daly into the corner, led to the try. And then conversely, you've got Gloucester have got a really strong wind at their back, who are messing around in the halfway line. They're going through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 phases where I'm not making any ground. At that point, Thomas Williams or Burns just got to go no and just put the ball down into the red zone and allow the forwards to maybe put some pressure on. Even from here, you can run an attacking play, but chances are something will go wrong, so get the ball into the red zone.
Penalty will do them for starters.
Number one around the outside. Number one around the outside.
Big roar from the Gloucester fans there. They realised that, as we were speaking about earlier, there's an element of superiority if Gloucester can exploit that and get their first big result from it, and gets them down exactly where Oster was saying, into the red zone, but with the ball.
Marcus. Just you're there, thank you. Yeah, can you get them on you, please?
Gloucester with just over a third of the first half possession and to attempt over 60 tackles.
That's fine, no, that's good.
Can they level things up again? Ennard to the tail, but Hugh Tizard's dinner plate size mitts disrupting the throw, and then Owen Farrell hammering it into the teeth of the gale. You can see the ball holding up, how little distance he got on that. Hathaway sliding around the outside. Gloucester possession, but 30 metres further back from where they started. Clement, Dan and Shegan manhandle him. Shegan, big counter ruck. Thorley trying to scrape it back. It's Saracens' ball. It's Sinti's ball. Farrell backpedaling again, the wind taking hold of anything above head height.
Okay, you're on.
Charlie Atkinson assessing his options.
Could go all the way, that. Could go all the way if he leaves it.
And unless it strikes the post.
Oh, he's had a really lucky bounce as it stopped.
To the bounce.
Goal line.
There's nobody out here. He could put a little dink into Shegan.
Farrell stands it up. Malins with the leap. Tom Willis again is there to hoover up those crumbs. Carry number 7 for the big number 8. 14 of them against Exeter last week. 7 tackle breaks as well. Malins' kick goes out, but it did collect a Gloucester boot on its way through.
Yeah, that's not been given at the moment.
Gloucester player. Thank you, Yuma.
It has.
Timing good.
The line-out's been a bit of a mess for both sides. Gloucester 1 from 3 so far, and that's the first loss for Saracens. They're now 1-3 from 4. It is windy, it is difficult. It does cut down your options as the hooker.
I said the same to Val earlier. If you can't go forward, don't go around the outside.
Just a little bit windy.
So windy up here, our half-time packet of Hannibal's about to turn into confetti. How much does that impact your line-out? Sorry,
it does, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, but it's not simply a case of where you throw it, but also the style of throw. You don't want a looped throw that's going to sit in the air for any extra time. So a lot of your movements as a caller, you're trying to get it so that the jumper's attacking the ball and going forward onto it. As we saw the last one that Gloucester lost, just died a little bit in the air.
Byrne to the gain line. Hathaway and Knight riding side saddle. Williams, Clement came from a long way, but Nyama Christie and company there to wait for him. Williams scragged by Fonsail, but found Fasogbon. McFarland stolen it. Another Gloucester attack comes to nothing.
Gloucester fans will be annoyed with that because I think his right knee hits the floor just as he's competing. He bounces back very quickly, so there's the carry. Watch his right knee, does it hit the floor? Yeah, it does. So if you're a Gloucester fan, you'd be really annoyed with that one.
Apple for Sogbon brought in for Nepo Laulala, who had such an engrossing battle with Nicky Smith at scrum time 8 days ago. Welshman probably coming out on top in that head-to-head with the All Black. For Sogbon's got some impressive names on his hit list at just 21 years old. Willis again, second receiver. Fonsail's missed pass, Sinti and Shegan on the opposite side. Theo McFarland hugging the touchline down beneath us, perhaps waiting for a...
He wants a cross field because he's up against Thomas Williams. Now Oli Thorley's going to come back and block off that option.
Shegan have been caught high by Freddie Thomas. Farrell zipping it along to Carey, too strong for Byrne, too strong for Thomas Williams. 3 men to stop the Welsh bull. Farrell, it's opened up for him with the dummy. Backdoor offload to Fonsail, wonderful take. Willis thought about the pass, then thought about using his muscles, but he spilled the payloads. And now Gloucester with Knight looking to run from deep, and he's tearing up the 4G. Tompkins reels him in. Great ball presentation. Williams, a lot of cherry and white off to the left. Seb Atkinson kicking for Charlie Atkinson. Daly, slide tackle, and it's come off Thorley, and it'll be a Saracens throw.
Owen Farrell's going mad at the referee's assistant, just saying there's a tackle off the ball on Theo Dan.
Okay, thank you. See, we've got a
Theo Dan outside. Willis gets tackled and then the turnover, but it was actually stripped in the tackle rather than at the breakdown.
The question's been asked, okay? Just wait.
They're asking the questions, nothing being given.
So, take out off the ball by red 6.
Take off the ball, red 6 showed on the replay against Saracens 2. Back,
and where's the mark?
Way back into the Gloucester 22 at that ruck.
Well, it's a big turnaround, that, isn't it, for Sarries?
I don't think it actually affected the turnover because the ball was actually stolen in the tackle. So I don't think he would have got there and made any challenge, but it is an off-the-ball tackle, so it's got to come back for the penalty.
Almost tries to pull out a little bit, doesn't he? Venter, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's picked the wrong man and he finishes through the tackle.
Theo Dan actually holds him and pulls him just to accentuate it, make sure they see it.
That's fine. It's a penalty, but can we just address something? I'd like you as the captain to come and ask me. Several players shouting at my AR and at me is not acceptable, but it's your penalty down here, okay? But you still finish with a tackle, you picked the wrong man.
This is a massive territorial swing here, almost from 22 to 22.
This is where Sarries are so good, though, this season. They haven't been in the red zone as much as other sides, but when they do get in there, they're only second to Northampton in their efficiency. So 47% of the time they'll get a try. How many visits have they had so far? 4? So the probability says they will score now.
Thank you. Lads, 10 metres, please.
They're going to go for the kick, though.
10 metres, please.
And that's it, the Haribos are gone.
Yeah. Okay, sorry,
I don't know what I'm going to do now.
So can you come over? Mark's just here.
Saving you from yourself, Austin. They're very effective, though, Austin, in both 22s. They're the second best statistically, attacking the red zone and defending it. It's an area of the game that they've really impressed in this season, for all that the bits in between might not have been up to the usual standards.
Yeah, I think Sarries look a lot better when they play a high possession game. They kick a lot of ball away. They always have. They've always been very good at that. It's what won them all those trophies back in the day. But this current Sarries, I like them more when they have ball in hand, because they're very difficult. They've got so many good strike runners, particularly in the forwards.
Tom Willis watches this fall from the heavens into the bread basket. A great big meeting of muscle between Willis and Fossogborn.
A little bit more diligent from Fonsale there, setting up that caterpillar ruck, giving him a bit more time.
Theo, when you're at the front of the ruck, wait till you put on before you go. Bobby, Mark, let's go. Reminder, loose heads, any reward, you got to go forward, not around.
Gloucester oftentimes this season giving themselves mountains to climb. Conceded 12 first-half tries coming into this match, scored only 3 by way of response. Numbers getting uglier in this opening 40 as well.
Bind! Set!
What can they conjure from this set piece?
Okay, that's stationary.
Willis backpedaling, standing further out, releasing Seb Atkinson, who goes up the guts, right through Fonsale. Fonsale has come up with the ball, and then Malins drills it deep. Gloucester just can't keep hold of it, can't exert that sustained pressure. Hathaway giving chase to this.
Advantage knock on.
Forward off the Welshman. Fonsale. Here's Ezekwe. Still no Maro Itoje for Saracens. He might perhaps be fit for final Prem match for a few weeks against Leicester Tigers next weekend.
advantage over.
Sale stabs it into the sky, straight up, straight back down. McFarland looked the favourite, he was clattered, and Arthur Clark fed Byrne.
50-20 is on.
Take over the shoulder from Daly, who sets off.
He's isolated
Easy
here.
run, but he's ploughing a lone furrow.
Atkinson holds him up in the tackle, which actually does him a favour there. It allows the support players to get back. If he drops him, chops him early, he allows support players to get over the ball.
Farrell stabbing it to the outside, where Shegan is in hot pursuit. Options on the inside for Shegan. Ezekiel. For Sale. Again, that up and under tactic, but again, it's not finding pay dirt for Saracens. Arthur Clark picking it off. Clement. Byrne. Charlie Atkinson. Sliding it outside to Thomas Williams. What's he doing out there? Oh, magical pass to Thorley. That's what Saracens are getting. That's what Gloucester will soon be missing. And that penalty is reversed. Thorley on Tompkins. And it's these things that are plaguing Gloucester. These little mistakes and fraying of temper.
Yeah, I've just given you a penalty, though. I've reversed the penalty because of his action. No clear release and then reversed for the actions of 11 Gloucester.
Not to labour the point, but he is going to be a grievous loss to Gloucester next season. I've got Dewi Lake and Jack Morgan coming across the border from Wales. Inard picks it up, and Inard has laced it downfield, and he's hogging his way after this. Might have been a tug on the jersey from Thomas Williams on the chase. In the end, Saracens mop it up.
Decent pace from him. Not only the right-footed kick through, but no one gets away from him. Look at that. Mama Christie, stride for stride.
They're quick warthogs, though, aren't they? Really quick animal.
Just got to calm himself down to make the throw now.
That resting heart rate a little high, and then with that lower trajectory into the wind, as Ben had mentioned, it doesn't find its intended target.
There's some chat, isn't there, about let's find out who the fastest player is in the Gallagher PREM.
Okay,
I'd like to do that by position as well.
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, you're fine.
So we'll find out who's the best, but who's the best tight head? Who's the fastest hooker? I think Theo Dan might be up there in the hooker stakes.
Jamie Blumire over a longer distance. He is absolutely rapid, Theo Dan. Try every 3 Prem matches on average. England and Saracens hooker. Pressure throw for Inard. Last couple have gone awry. This one gets a cheer from the sheds. And an advantage coming Gloucester's way as well. So a free play for the home team. Just over a minute of the first half left. Seb Atkinson, Charlie Atkinson. Hathaway cushions it on the leg. And Adam Whale will bring them back.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
It's a lovely setup play by Gloucester, and then just, again, the execution in that wide channel's let them down.
Hook in the arm. Doesn't matter, don't hook the arm.
Tompkins here. Just watch how he makes a nuisance of himself. Goes in for the hit, little release. They come over the top, he goes again. So he's dragging extra bodies in from a Gloucester perspective, slowing the ball down, just that extra work. He hasn't come away with a turnover, but he's done his job there. He's stopped them getting rapid ball.
It's a defining moment in the game, this potentially for Gloucester. That kick, I know it's windy, I know it's tough, they've got to get it closer. You think here, with the elements that Saracens are going to be able to force Gloucester back into their half for most of the next 40 minutes, they have to get something here for me. They're going to go on to win this match.
Saracens don't contest. Ludlow takes at the front. Transfer not the cleanest, and Clement has to shovel it out. Thomas Williams, there's the footwork. Is there a finish? Oh, it's even better than that. Gloucester's globetrotter making magic again. showing the Shed what they'll be missing next season. And Arthur Clarke, the beneficiary of another piece of Welsh wizardry.
Wow, wow, wow. He gets stumbled. Look, he comes round the short side. It's a one-on-one. I'll step you. No, I haven't done yet. I'll have another go. Great. Fakes the inside, then over the top. Is he in touch? That's the only question. This is such a good piece of skill. The feet haven't done it. The eyes have. The hand. Does his right foot touch the line? No, it doesn't. That is sensational. Take a bow.
And telling as well, it was current Saracen scrum half against future one. Williams and Fonsail tussling down the blind side. And now Byrne. Gloucester feeling an awful lot better about themselves as the half-time whistle sounds.
Just incredible how he, the underhand dummy just to stop the defender on the inside, stops Malin with that one, and then he goes over the top of him. That is incredible.
Just remarkable, just remarkable. In front of the Shed, a full gallery. Thomas Williams' paw prints all over another Gloucester try. They're right back in this match as they head for the Sheds. The half-time score at Kingsholm, Gloucester 14, Saracens 17. Saracens couldn't get themselves home. Is this to be another half-time lead that slips through their fingers? Owen Farrell with the restart to get this decisive 40 underway. And Jack Clement coming tearing off, matching the first half feats of Tom Willis.
Okay, use it. Take him back in.
Caterpillar Ruck provides the safety for Thomas Williams, who's now kicking into that stiff West Country breeze. Daly takes it.
Does feel like the breeze has dropped a little bit though.
Advantage. Number 4.
Another penalty that Gloucester have leaked. Fourth of the game.
You got advantage.
Farrell throwing it straight to Hathaway.
Number 4 offside.
It's a coach killer, that, isn't it?
Thanks, mate.
Not a minute into the first half and you get done for offside. Defending on the halfway line. Give Farrell the opportunity to maybe go for the post if he wants to keep the scoreboard ticking. He's going to try and put it in the corner.
Interesting narrative building across the Gallagher PREM, particularly at the bottom. Newcastle, last we heard, 8 points up against Bristol down the road at Ashton Gate.
As long as
looking for their first points of the season. Gloucester with just 8 points, 1 win and a few bonus points on the board. They lose today, they go to the Red Bulls in 6 days' time, Friday night. Not a fixture they would relish with just 1 win on the board. They've stopped that Saracens attack though.
Use it. Someone's a bit quicker with these, please.
McFarland got his timing wrong. Thomas Williams didn't get his kick wrong.
I don't think he did. I think you see forwards do that a lot nowadays, where they fake, okay, I'm offside, sorry, but it just takes the timing away from the 9, who's probably already into the motion of kicking. A lot of sides doing it more now.
Here's Farrell. Tompkins. Farrell on the run around. Malin squaring up. Daly dinking it in behind for the marauding Shagan. And pressure on this Gloucester line out.
An area of the game that didn't go so well for Gloucester in the first half. Lost 3 from 6. Now,
is it 4?
An early dart in their own 22.
Hold back, lads. Hold back.
Jack Ennards competing with Dewi Lake for that number 2 shirt next season. Seb Blake and Jack Singleton, as we mentioned, unavailable for the time being. Young George Knowles, the teenager, on the bench. Ennards done well there, not just to hit his man, but to make significant ground.
Use it.
Well, Williams has lost it, and it'll be a Saracen scrum.
Just doesn't focus, does he, on the back foot?
Let's go. Yeah, too cold for this. Let's go.
Things not going well, starting well for Gloucester in this second half. Such a good try, wasn't it, down in that corner? The fact that he went to step him on the outside, he didn't do it, and then he backed himself to have another go was super impressive.
A lot of chat from all the inside backs of Saracens here to Shegan. It's not going to come, but that was who they were looking for.
Here's Shegan revving the engine. Fonseal, Willis smashing to within 5. Fonseal again, McFarland with a goose step and then the power. Rapava Ruskin couldn't steal it. Dan gets onto it. Fonseal, Willis again reloading. Upended but not held.
Tackle, let go. Let go. No,
McFarland hungry for more. Dan hunting for it again. It's the same names. It's the same painful bludgeoning. Hugh Tizard,
Shegan wants a crossfield kick here. Jamie wants a crossfield kick. Thomas Williams in front of him's injured. He's limping.
Tackle, Gloucester.
Fonseal digging it out. McFarland. Back to the left they come. Tizard gunning towards the posts. Sogbon brought him down. Fonseal caught at the base. Penalty advantage to Saracens. Here's Sinti.
Yeah, advantage for offside against 12.
12 phases now for Saracens. Continuing to rap hard at Gloucester's door. Up it goes from Farrell. McFarland's after it. Oh!
Happy?
That's what he does. Thomas Williams splatted Theo McFarland with an alley-oop finish.
Well, they had the advantage. It was a shot to nothing, but a couple of times in the first half, that man was stood out on the touchline with Williams marking him. And there's obviously a huge mismatch if they can get the ball above his head. He's already injured, as Austin pointed out. There he is limping. And when the advantage was given, Rhys Carrick got the call, gives it back to Farrell, and he couldn't have hit this better. Had loads of time to pick his spot. His eyes came up. And there's nothing that an injured Williams can do on one leg against one of the most athletic, tall blokes in the league.
Fair play to Thomas Williams there, actually. If that's not McFarland, if that's Shegan, I think he might just do enough. But as Benny said, McFarland is brilliant in the air. And I think that's probably the end we'll see of Thomas Williams, unless they can strap up that ankle.
Farrell's kick misses. 8-point game. Thomas Williams is down and injured.
He just floats it up, Farrell, doesn't he? Doesn't try and put too much direction on it, just knows he wants to land it on the try line.
I think it was actually your guy still in the tackle. That's
Nothing really more Williams can do there. The ball's coming down on his head. He's got no momentum to jump against a huge athlete with great hands who's running onto the ball, can pick his timing and ensure he gets above him.
He's got that right leg heavily strapped, but he is going to soldier on, Thomas Williams.
Doesn't look like it's a knee, though, does it? I just wonder whether he's got a dead leg and they're hoping he can run it off. Just try and put some compression on the bruise.
Saracens, meanwhile, one more try to rack up the bonus point. They are the first team in the Prem to hit 40 tries this season. Taking them just beyond 7.5 games to get there.
Just take it in. Keep working back. Keep working back.
Here's Malins.
Tell you what, Malins got caught by his opposite number there. Sorry, not his opposite number, it's Charlie Atkinson.
Right, let's have a chat with Rob Webber, the assistant forwards and transition coach down at the Stonex. Rob, you happy with your team's start to the second half? Theo McFarland's such a weapon in those wide channels, isn't he?
Yeah, he was back to the old basketball days there, wasn't he? Yeah, we've started both halves. I think started pretty well. So hopefully we can push on and continue that throughout the second half.
You'll not thank me for bringing this up, Rob, but I'm sure it's been spoken about internally. Second half leads slipping through your fingers this season. What have you said? What are you doing to make sure today's not another?
Yes, said don't do that anymore. No, look, there's loads of factors, isn't there? You know, last week I think probably our physicality dropped off in the match, which we just can't do in the Premiership. All the teams are so good. And on the other side of it is probably mental and concentration and sticking to plans. And in this particular game here now against Gloucester, it'll probably be a little bit about playing the conditions. There's a heck of a wind out there, so if we can play as much of the game down in their half as possible and make it tough for them to exit, to use that phrase, then we'll give ourselves a chance.
I tell you, just on the stroke of half-time, you can see why everyone at Sarries is so excited about Thomas Williams. He's not going to win the 50-50 with Theo, but his assist for the try just before the interval, outstanding.
Yeah, he didn't do himself any favours for next year, did he? Coming in with that first play.
Top man, Rob, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Whilst you were chatting, there was a really good tackle by Atkinson on Theo McFarland down the short side. This is look how well he drops him. Great place from Daly, gets to the outside. McFarland's got one thing in mind. That is a good tackle from a smaller man on a big guy. Technique, really good.
Do you think he's better at fullback or fly half, Oz?
I just don't think I've seen enough of him at 10 to give a fair comment. I think he's a good fullback. Remember him at Wasps thinking, and then he went to Leicester thinking, actually, what a great signing for Leicester that is. Didn't really take that opportunity. And now he's found himself in the 15 shirt and the cherry and white, so very good rugby player, though, isn't he?
Brilliant steal at the line out from Ezekwe. Two men competing on the floor like it's 1974.
Well, Adam Leal called for the maul. Gloucester didn't have to roll away.
Thanks, lads. Cheers. It's mental. Sorry, is that subs? Yeah, 1 and 3 sub, I think.
Mark McCall is going to the bench for the first time today, and it's a couple of the heavies who are being withdrawn. Theo, Dan, Rees, Carey off, the great Jamie George, and the enormous planet-sized Ronnie Maui of Fiji coming on to replace them.
It's really uncomfortable for everybody.
We haven't really discussed that, have we? I think, you know, Gloucester obviously still well in this game. Gutted to concede that last try, but the Saracens bench looks particularly strong today. Gonzalez, Earl, Burke still to come, George, some heavyweight additions.
There's the cast list. Tradition Irish line and Ben Earl, another one who's just come on, and Jamie George. Theo down, by the way, 13 carries in his 50-minute stint. Saracens penalty.
I told you to use it. You've got to go forward. He's going around the outside. Thomas, I gave you every opportunity to use that. I asked you to use it in your loose. Yeah, I asked you to use it because your loose edge is going around the outside, so I have to penalise him. I can't just let him do it all day. So
the referee's telling them to use it now, and he's saying that they ran round. I think it's just as much Saracens. I think it is Maui there who runs
I'll give you
his hips round to the left. I mean, obviously the referee's got a different angle view to us, but that's a very, very harsh call, particularly as Gloucester had started to move forwards. You can see the look on the faces of Sogban and that man Valentine Ruskin.
Saracens with a chance to pull away from this set piece. Willis, Jamie George, one-on-one with Williams. George on the inside. Brilliant pass, stunning try. Bonus point Saracens. Bearing his battle scars, Jamie George. But what a moment of brilliance. Ivan Fonseca with the finish.
The setup is so good from Sarries. If you watch Willis's eyes just as they come down, you won't see it from this angle, but we'll see it in a bit. He just has a little look and realises there's only one man there, so he knows where he's going. Lovely play, and the offload from Jamie George. He's got fabulous feet for a big man. And then out the back of the hand.
Tom gets hold of that as well, but Sarries now 13 points up, Ben.
Just on Austin's point, watch how Willis hides his body from Gloucester, but he goes in with his hands rather than ripping. So he know that he's breaking there. There was never an intention for him to actually drive, but because of the shape of it, the angle of his body, which was almost pointing out towards the touchline, he was hidden, and no one from Gloucester could see that. Element of surprise. They come round the corner. Gloucester overcommit to the maul, and they create the 2-on-1.
Sarries, the first team to register 7 bonus point tries in the Gallagher PREM this season. Harlequins, the only team to stop them scoring 4 in a game. Gloucester now need a couple of their own to turn this match around. Thorley up against Shigan and Sinti. Haven't won this fixture in the Prem for 3.5 years, Gloucester. June 2022 against the heavily rotated Sarries team. Last round of the regular season. Where's that bouncing? Tompkins coming through, Seb Atkinson coming through. It's the Welshman who gets mitts on it and then loses it. Apple for Sogbon. Oh, here we go. The tight end with a chip and chase. Daly's missed it. Fonsale gets hammered by Fasogbon, who then realises he's not supposed to do that.
Thank you, lads. That's enough.
Tom Willis again just says, give it to me, lads.
It's fine if you knee drop someone, but you put your hands up as though it's an accident. It's actually fine. Just lost my balance.
Shagan burning up the outsides. Thorley can't take him. Thomas Williams can't take him. Fonsale, front foot ball for Sarries. Maui, look out. Ouch. But Gloucester over it. Maui holding on.
Well, he wins the penalty. Ludlow, I thought he was a little bit long-legged. Ludlow, I thought the referee might tell him to leave it. Brilliant carry. He's been so good all game, hasn't he? Emily pointed out all his best bits from the first half, and this is incredible. Great combination, footwork, power, low centre of gravity.
12 carries now for Rotimi Shagan, over 60 metres made.
Time off on the 6th, sub.
And Gloucester going to the bench as well. Harry Taylor, West Country boy from Clifton College, coming on for James Fenter. He's not long back from a hamstring injury. Summer edition from the Sharks of South Africa. Dripping claret as he leaves the battlefield.
Are you okay? Yeah, hang on. Time's off. Okay, time on.
Inard standing in front of the sheds. Ezekwe couldn't quite get that one. Byrne static. Clement less so. Byrne. Williams at first receiver. Oh, McFarland came through. Just a knock on for now. Williams flipping it to the outside. Thomas back on the inside. And Gloucester will need that scrummage.
Yeah, 7 white. 7 white.
Well, we've got a New Year's treat for you next weekend. Leeds and Manchester United renewing their bitter rivalry in our opening Premier League game of 2026. Live from Ellen Road at 11 AM, Sunday 4th of January on TNT1. Australian Open tennis as well, starting 7 days after that, 18th of January, TNT Sports. We're kicking off 2026 with the first tennis Grand Slam of the year. Melbourne hosting that 2-week extravaganza. As your Alcaraz, Sabalenka, Draper, all bidding for glory. Every match from the Australian Open, exclusively live from January the 18th. And just to underline the point Ben was making earlier about Saracens' depth, Ben Earl emptied from the bench and on in that Saracens back row. An apple for Sogbon, worn out after his chip and chase, his cover tackle. Just after that, huge distances he's covered. Was replaced by Jamal Ford-Robinson. Been 14 scrums in this match, Ben. How much does that take out of the lungs and legs of your tight 5 forwards?
It's obviously a huge part of it. It's a very different fitness to everything else because running around, hitting things, they're all moving targets, whereas this is a real isometric exercise. Your muscles locked in one position for, what, 7, 8 seconds, full power, trying your whole body, just trying to keep you locked out. So if you're in that front row, your spine's not getting bent out of position. Intense exercise. Sometimes the guys will get up. It's better now, we're not having so many resets, but guys that get up and shaky legs, they've got to run to the next thing against some whippersnapper like Thomas Williams.
Charlie Atkinson squaring up the defence. Cinti brought him down. Byrne, Clements, no look past to Arthur Clark. In good form of late for Gloucester. Byrne distributing, Rapava Ruskin. McFarland came through onto it. McFarland's hacking after it. Mopped up by Will Knight. McFarland's hunting him down as well.
There was a knock-on in the tackle all the way back here.
Just got checked in the background, I think. Just the outside-in tackle. Reads the play really well, knows exactly that Rapava Ruskin likes that handling role. Comes through, gets a shot on him, but unfortunately just knocks it on.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Saracens bringing on Fergus Burke for Nick Tompkins. That we'd imagine Austin will see Owen Farrell shift out to 12 and Burke come on at fly half.
Yeah. Interesting stat, isn't it, that Sarries haven't won a game this season when Farrell started at 10. I don't think it's his fault, but interesting choice, that is it. It's obviously a straight decision between Burke and Tompkins. Farrell's always going to play. That's a tough one.
Gloucester milking the scrum penalty. And the set-piece move disguised to Seb Atkinson. Byrne looking out the back. Floats it to Charlie Atkinson. Just lost his footing at the crucial moments.
Really nice play with loads of disguise from Gloucester. Unfortunately, in the wind, the final pass not quite good enough, but the loop around, watch the tuck of the ball to make him look like he's going, but he knows that that hard runner on his shoulder is going to take away the last defender. They just haven't quite got the accuracy in that 15-metre channel.
It was over-elaborate, wasn't it, in the end? The actual carry through the midfield by Seb Atkinson would have been good enough by himself if he just kept going. He was making ground. It's one of those moves that you think about on the training field, and you do it against the lads, the bag holders, and it works really well. You go, yeah, let's do it in a game, and then the opposition go, well, that wasn't very good, was it?
They're driving the one up. Because I always look at the team that go forward first, and then after that it's the...
It's Harry Taylor, who's just come on a few minutes ago, on for James Fenter, who's down receiving some medical attention. It's like that left hand and wrists, bit of strapping.
Penalised for going, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so all I'm saying to you is I think when a team go forward through two sides, they earn the right, and then whoever stands up.
Fascinating discussion there between Jamie George and referee Adam Leal. George not happy at how Gloucester are approaching the set piece. They're happy down at the rec though. What a start to their title defence. The defence of their Prem Cup Challenge Cup. Gallagher PREM treble last season. Johan van Graan's champions in action against the European runners-up and 2024 English champions Northampton. That's coming up 5:15 after us on TNT Sports 1. Mega match in the post. If you're George Skivington, Austin, what more are you looking to see from your team heading into this final 20 minutes?
Well, there needs to be a spark, doesn't it? They need to do something that's different. The try was a spark, it got them that energy, but they've started this second half with just lots and lots of mistakes. They've got to cut those out, obviously. And maybe do something a little bit different on the tackle line, back themselves to make ground. Play arguably simple rugby. I said before, they over-elaborated that back play. You've got Seb Atkinson in the midfield, just run him as hard as you possibly can and then get the next momentum in the phase, get the side going forward. They're not winning those collisions, are they? I think that's what, you know, you look down the league, the sides are at the bottom of the league at the minute, the sides that don't have the most post-contact meters.
Saracens with 63% possession, half the tackle count of Gloucester, who've been forced to make over 150 of them. Can they build some pressure? Cam Jordan, who's just on, for the injured substitute Harry Taylor. Another injury for Gloucester, so many.
Backwards.
George Skivington battling at the moment. This is Byrne.
Tackle in, let go!
It feels like the wind's picked up again. It died down just around half-time, but Gloucester playing into it. And you'll see from this penalty they're not going to make much ground.
That's actually a really good decision. Because Tom Willis thinks, oh, they've gone quickly.
But Thomas Williams, knowing perhaps that Saracens were caught unawares, knowing perhaps that kicking into this wind is not easy. Ludlow, oh, that's an interesting pass. Maui came up and got to grips with Cam Jordan. Williams across the face to Clement, lovely service. Clement out the back door, Malins have read it. And Jamie George back to Elliot Daly.
Here we go.
Be on for Saracens here, tight 5 forwards in front of Burke. But the pass to Shegan's not great.
That's poor, isn't it? You get the ball in the midfield. You've got Shegan on the outside, who's been electric all afternoon, and you see in front of you 3 forwards. Get the ball in his hands as quickly as you can, whatever it takes. Look, he could have thrown it 3 or 4 strides earlier, and in the end he tries to throw a floater with the wind behind him.
6 Mike, 7. 6.
Be no hat-trick for Theo McFarland today. His race is run, and on in his stead comes Juan Martin Gonzalez, now over 50 caps for Argentina. Fabulous talent. Another member of this glowing back row roster that Saracens have assembled in North London. Now taken by Ludlow.
Use it! You've had it, use it!
20 minutes for Gloucester to turn this around. 2 converted tries required to take the lead.
Use it.
Haven't led this game at all thus far. Williams, again you can see the impact of the wind. Forwards in danger of being offside. Spilled by George. Gloucester have it back. Byrne, Clement inside to Seb Atkinson. Finally some go forward. No surprise, it's Atkinson who provides it. Clement running into brick walls. Williams, little space there, but Tom Willis has picked him up like a toddler.
Let go, he's on the ground.
Thomas Williams dumped onto the naughty step. Ronnie Maui with his 3rd tackle of this set of phases.
First man won the ball.
And it's a fantastic steal as well. Marcus Street on the ground, the tight heads. And Farrell has got space in front of him, options inside him.
Ball's there. He's strapped.
Van Sale, Gonzalez, Thomas Williams in the thick of things again. Tom Willis, carry number 17 of the day.
Okay, use it, please.
Whelan's went up for it. Fell kindly for Josh Hathaway, but Tizard's going to work for the steal. Byrne, Clement. For Robinson. Byrne, Gloucester pushing the envelope from deep here. And this perhaps where the wind is most keenly felt. Gloucester will struggle to make much ground with the boot from this position. Gloucester's DNA these days is to give the ball some air. Seb Atkinson key to that. Tom Willis slams the door on him. Williams. Byrne was screaming for it. Went to Charlie Atkinson instead, and then Knight. Danger of being dragged into touch. Shegan's got it. What a game he's having. Coming on Gloucester's side. Somehow the cherry and whites have it. Nobody's quite sure how that happened.
Let go, no. Let's go.
Sarri's making life desperately uncomfortable for Thomas Williams at the base. Byrne, Seb Atkinson, lined up by Farrell. Big shot from the Sarries stalwart, and Burke will draw the penalty. Mighty impact from Owen Farrell.
Just that's one thing about Gloucester is
I'm sure we could.
there's no deception early on. If you watch Byrne here, he just shovels it on, not really taking. So that whole white line goes forward, and he doesn't lose any of the potential tacklers in front of him. So that means there's a mismatch. They've got plenty of bodies, so he knows he can go in. He knows there's plenty of white shirts around him that can fill in the defensive line for the next phase.
Ross Byrne would never have lost 4 games on the bounce as he did at the start of the season for Gloucester in all his years at Leinster. Not a dynamic he's used to. He's the main man here. Missed just 2 minutes of Prem action. Pressure on him to spark something for his team. George to the tail, but stolen. Arthur Clark leaping highest.
Use it. Okay, use it, please.
Solid kick from Williams into the breeze.
Yeah, great kick into the wind. He's been the standout player, obviously, hasn't he, for Gloucester this afternoon. And you asked before how they're going to get back in. They still could win this match, but they're going to have to do it the hard way. We saw going through the phases, get some go forward. You only need 2 or 3 fast phases and you end up with a try.
Ezekiel well taken. Burkett fly half. Farrell doing the chasing from the inside centre slot. Hathaway's underneath it. Kick is the shout. Hathaway chooses to run. On his run down a blind alley. Jordan always coughed it up. Farrell will swing this out where Burke is advancing. Shegan's calling for it on the outside.
Was that a trip?
Burke almost slide tackle to ground. Van Sale threatening around the fringes. Shegan, great rucking to secure possession. George, Malins, Tizards, just couldn't hit Tom Willis. Van Sale sees a gap opening up. Malins gets on it again. Daly, cross kicks on. Shegan's got pace, beautifully measured, but Shegan scragged, and Gloucester with a chance to counter. Seb Atkinson brought down. Chaos, utter chaos, and then another blind alley taken, this time by Thorley. There was a penalty.
Just wait 1 minute, mate.
Saracens offside. Stuart Teller's the TMO wants to have a look at something else.
I think it's the slide tackle, but it was that blatant. I can't believe it was. Oh, hang on. I can't believe it was deliberate.
Yeah, it looked originally like it was a slip, Adam, but it's more than that. It's going to come up now. We're going to show you this at pace.
It's a slip.
That's accidental, that, isn't it?
His left foot slides away from him.
And it's a step onto the ankle.
Oh, no, he's running.
Yeah. I think that can be seen either way. His eyes might tell us something else.
Yeah. My first view, I'm not seeing any foul play here.
Okay, well, we need
definitely
to look
a foul in football.
So here we go across now.
No, that's a natural stride pattern for me.
No, it's shooting.
Take that. Here we go. There's the one you wanted. Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Back to you, Adam. Yeah.
Right, let's have a listen.
We're not seeing clear foul play here. It's a player misstepping in his stride. He lands on the foot. There's no clear foul play. We're sticking with the original decision.
Understood.
I think that could have gone either way. Some people will say it looks like a natural foot position, but there was just a little bit for me where his foot seems to extend in his stride a little bit further.
I think that's just slow motion. Like,
do you?
What would be going through his mind to go, I know what I might do. I might try and trip him up here.
I know it would have been blatant, but anyway. We're not the officials, as we get told on numerous occasions.
Thank goodness.
Right, our pair of TMOs have delivered their verdicts. Adam Wheel is happy for play to continue. Saracens about to send for Charlie Bracken.
Time is off, please. Are we all done? I've got 9 white sub, it's been called.
Right, that substitute is going to be made just now. Bracken on, Ethan Van Sale off. He's having a terrific breakout season, young Bracken. really impressive for Saracens. And
Thanks, Clark. Yeah,
defeat in Durban against the Sharks, rotated team a couple of weeks ago, Champions Cup duty. They're back at it in a couple of weeks against Toulouse at home, Glasgow away. Some huge fixtures at this time of year in both competitions. Jordan takes that one. Gloucester have to play. Gloucester have to score. 13 minutes and some change to make it happen. They won't make it happen if Tom Willis has got anything to do with it.
He didn't hold on to it.
He stole it, then let it go again. But Saracens do have the penalty.
First man on his feet won the ball, then played on the floor by
watch
Gloucester.
the quality of Earl here. Not only his tackle, which is a chop tackle to allow Willis on, but how he rolls out of the way. So often we see players penalised on a legitimate turnover because they don't roll away quickly enough. Does a really good job, shows to the referees not in the way. Willis gets in, takes the ball. Very slow from Gloucester to react and get in over that. You saw the time that Willis had to get in there.
Signed a long-term deal recently at the Stonex, keep him at the club till 2029 at least. Such depth in that part of the field. No surprise Sarri's going for 3 here. This would take them beyond 2 converted tries. Farrell delivers. Gloucester 14, Saracens 30, and a West Country mountain for the home team to scale now.
Just that's been subbed, so we'll time off for now. All done.
Kieran Knight is on in the front row for Gloucester. Laura Pavaruskin making way. Tiatia Tuimauga coming on for Marcus Street. The Saracens front row, and that kick was Owen Farrell's last act of the game. He's off. Ollie Hartley has come on in the Saracens midfield. What a take from Ezekwe. Didn't go 10, didn't matter. Maui.
Yeah, I got it, mate. Use it.
Bracken under pressure from
Miles
Clark.
Miles offside. Arthur Clark there.
Hathaway gambling and not winning. Tom Willis onto it once more. 3 cherry and whites to stop him, and George just couldn't hold on. 18 carries for Tom Willis today.
Just an example of how good he is, how strong he is in the tackle to keep the ball alive.
It's Seb Atkinson. Gloucester doing all they can to run out of trouble, but more often than not running into it. Jordan.
Still under pressure at the moment. Okay, tackle, let go. Use it, please. Advantage over.
Daly, a lot of space for him to attack. Timing on the pass to Earl. Sinty on alongside him. Earl throws it into touch.
Ran out of steam, didn't he, Sinty? They're off again, Gloucester. There's a chance here if they go.
Can't afford to hang around. This is the man whose hands they want on the ball. Thomas Williams. Fresh legs of Ollie Hartley, making sure he didn't go anywhere. Ludlow, Clement, Byrne, missed Ford Robinson tonight.
No, don't, because he's in the way.
Byrne, Seb Atkinson. Jordan into Maui. 3 tries in 10 minutes required for Gloucester. Feels like a big ask. Clement, though, perhaps can give them some hope. That loop forwards. Hathaway's onto it. Was right along the halfway line, which didn't help the optics.
Right in front of the Saracens bench as well, which didn't help.
Charlie Atkinson, Ludlow and Knight thought each other were taking it. Thorley picks it up, caught almost in a headlock. And Gloucester have got to retreat and find some shape. Thomas Williams breathing in lungfuls of wintry West Country air. Byrne to Arthur Clark. Maui's been busy, not busy enough to stop him. Lovely offload as well to Clement. Ball is loose. Gloucester onto it. Inard. Arthur Clark retreating. Saracens feasting on this chaotic Final few minutes. Now perhaps an opportunity for Gloucester. Thomas Williams, Jamal Ford-Robinson, direct and hard. Byrne, Enard, Seb Atkinson, Ollie Thorley. Dummy was on. Thorley puts the hammers down away from Bracken. Thorley against Burke. Shegan's corner flagging. Thorley against Shegan. Brilliant tackle from the Saracen. Thorley might have taken an extra roll. Saracens, wonderful defence.
Yeah, he did. He was just too quick, wasn't he? Ran away from the pace. And then as soon as Shegan came into the picture, you knew they were going to be in trouble.
I think it's Burke as well. His defence is brilliant here at the breakdown. Does so well, Thorley. I love seeing him at full tilt. Some of the tries he's scored here in the past have been electric, but he just puts his head down. Now decides, look at Burke's tackle. We'll see him come over the top of the right arm, protects the ball from the offload, then he gets back to his feet, keeps hold of him. So there's no extra roll there.
Does he release, though?
He doesn't release, does he?
I don't think he releases.
I think that's what they're saying.
Looking up at that big screen.
I don't think he releases it, keeps hold of the collar. Here we go. Keeps hold, keeps hold. He hasn't released him.
He has released. He has released.
Well, he's saying he has released. Maybe he did before he competed with the ball. He was certainly holding him on the ground to pull him in tighter.
Okay, 10 metres, please. 10 metres, please. Last chance.
You can hear what the Shed make of that. Gloucester going to be marched 10 for a bit of insolence as well. That's a couple of breakdown steals for Fergus Burke. Perhaps an underappreciated part of the Scotland fly halves game.
Stick it. Oh, hasn't.
Daly doesn't hit touch. Charlie Atkinson brings it away. Atkinson with a big flamboyant dummy. Hathaway's with them. The bouncer towards Seb Atkinson. Cannons off his chest.
Picked the wrong ball, didn't he, there? He had the opportunity to just drop it onto Hathaway. The little short ball.
Right, we can all pause for breath. Our Gallagher PREM Player of the Match contenders. Who's in the running, Austin?
Well, they're all Saracens players in the running. There's Theo McFarland there. Shegan's had a fantastic game. Electric. This guy has been unbelievable, both sides of the get ball. But then the other Sarries player that's in contention is Thomas Williams. He's had a brilliant game in the red and whites.
Willis has been incredible. As Austin said, both sides of the ball. He's been a menace at the breakdown. Top tackler for Sarries. And he's made more carries than the entire Gloucester back row, including their substitutes.
A stat that tells the story.
Use it.
95 Gloucester carries, 122 for Saracens. And a big chunk of those Gloucester carries coming in the past 10 minutes or so.
Inside.
That's a fantastic kick.
Mickey Austin takes me back to Latin. That the teacher came in and said, "Stop taking the Mickey, Austin."
You sat in traffic for a long time today, Austin, didn't you, thinking that one up?
My feet are cold.
Pondering that one on the M5 ring road on your way in here.
I've got the cameraman to our left just looking at me going, that is shocking.
Something else beginning with shit.
Yeah, it was slightly shorter than shocking.
That's not straight from George to Tizards. Feels like a lost cause for Gloucester. 6 minutes to play, even to take a bonus point of some kind. 2 tries required to get the 4-try bonus or to reduce the arrears to within 7.
Oh my God, that is so cheap.
Where did Gloucester go from here, Ben? That trip to Newcastle, who last we heard were beating Bristol. They have subsequently lost that lead. Bristol ahead by a couple of scores now. But that's the fixture Red Bulls will be licking their lips for. Conversely, Gloucester going up there on a Friday night in January with 1 win from 8. It's not a great fixture.
I said it about Harlequins as well after their loss last night, that teams that were in the hunt. So Newcastle haven't really felt like they were in the hunt all along, but those two teams are now getting separated from looking up, and now they're looking down, and there's almost more pressure on them. And Newcastle will pick, you think they will pick up a victory at some point. They might get it today against Bristol. But that pressure, it's almost like these two teams, Harlequins and Gloucester, are being hunted down, whereas Newcastle have nothing to lose. And they're just looking for that first win that will put maximum pressure on these other two teams.
And I think it will bring back the conversation about relegation more and more now. When you get these three sides, they're in contention. If there was somebody with the capacity, a London Irish of those worlds, or a Worcester that had got the capacity to come up, the jeopardy gets so much greater, doesn't it?
Can Gloucester give themselves something to play for? Austin, Seb Atkinson with a left foot step. Ben Earl again with that chop tackle. Saracens again, flooding through the ruck, dragging Gloucester backwards and winning the penalty. Wolfpack feasting.
Have a look who's in the middle of it.
Just look at the numbers. That's the thing. Gloucester, look who wins the battle. Look how quickly the white shirts get there from the breakdown and from the scrum rather than the red shirts. That counter ruck. Firstly, the initial people in red and white have to do their job to stop that potential counter ruck opportunity as the rest of the Saracens forwards get up. But it's a good tackle. They get 2 against 1. Austin has to go in there, really, doesn't he? Because they're isolated, but he's waiting as the 9, but they're just not getting the bodies to help.
Special day for George Knowles. You got a glimpse of him. Top of your picture there on jersey 16. Prem debut for the 19-year-olds at hooker for Jack Kennard. Jack Bracken pops it high. Malin's after it, but there was a call of offside against him. Mikey Austin's going to play here. Hathaway's with him. Hathaway's got serious pace. Austin timing of the pass. Not great. Just behind Hathaway. And that, more than anything, sums up Gloucester's day and sums up Gloucester's season.
He just gets caught in two minds, doesn't he? Austin does everything right. Tap, goes to the outside. It's good defence, though, isn't it? From Bracken. He's backing off Bracken. He's not making a decision, and then he doesn't go forward too quickly. Really good defence from Bracken.
Because Austin steps inside slightly. Hathaway's gone to the burners, so he's almost overrun it slightly. He just needs to trust his pace. We've been raving about his pace all the time. He's thinking it's really hard for a young, inexperienced guy. But if he just bides his time there, he's still going to make it to the line.
Having been in all three of those positions, the 9 carrying the ball, the winger on the outside, and the 9 defending, I always think give the ball to the winger, because you're more likely to get it back and score yourself. Not being greedy or anything, but it's the best way of getting more tries.
Tom Willis, perhaps his last carry of the day. 2 minutes to play. Approaching 20 of them now. Most carries in the game, most offloads in the game. Tom Willis. Third charge down, but no offside line because it's been touched, so Gonzalez brings it away, but the upshot here is a Gloucester scrum. And then amongst all that, with a couple of minutes to play, we can name our Gallagher PREM player of the match, Austin.
Well, it was quite an easy decision, to be honest, Jamie. I think that his performance, both sides of the ball, as both Benny and myself have said throughout the game, has been sensational. His physicality, his ability to stand in the tackle, to make meters. He's carried more, twice as many times as anyone else in his team. He's just going to be such a loss for that man next year, and for England, actually, when he goes off to play in France. And that's why Tom Willis is our Gallagher player of the match. He is some player.
18 carries, 9 tackles, stat leader in both categories for Saracens.
Turnovers, yeah, over the ball.
10 start in a row today as well, so durable. He's going to leave a big hole in every way in that Sarries back row. One last chance for Gloucester to salvage something, even if it is just a modicum of pride. Austin ransacked. Clement to Thomas, whose try feels an awful long time ago now.
Not now, not now.
Austin, Clement again. He's run hard all day into the heaviest of traffic. Arthur Clark repelled. Austin and Knowles. Austin again. Here's the debutant. Rotimi Shegan caught, or Rotimi Sinti caught for being offside. Austin again. Clement again. Seb Atkinson. Ross Byrne. Oh, he's dished it up to Daly. Well, they were on penalty advantage.
Thanks, Pete.
Great read from Daly, wasn't it? No pressure on it because he knows his team have won it, but
just thinking about where did Gloucester go from here?
Stay on your feet,
I think maybe they start to think about changing their fly half. I think maybe they start to put Atkinson there. England Day, want to see him?
Cam Jordan, final play of the match. Nothing but pride on the line for Gloucester. And it's just not happening for them.
Penalty advantage.
Have another crack at this. Tireless Ludlow puts his team on his back. Arthur Clark, his 8th carry of the day. Austin trying to lever the enormous Maui off the ball. Clement soft hands to Seb Atkinson.
Not now, leave it.
It's the 8th time Gloucester have been in the Saracens 22. Just 2 tries to show for it. Here's Clements around the corner. Bit of deception, much better. Knight rumbled backwards. Austin, Jordan. Hartley brings them down. Charlie Atkinson pops it up to Thorley. Knowles dipping his shoulder, wrapped up by Gonzalez and Tizard. Clement yet again asked to do the heavy work. Austin, Ludlow. Oh, way to go from Byrne. The feet from Knight, stepping, punching and scoring. A moment the young man will cherish forever. And a note of West Country defiance right at the end, even though it comes with no tangible rewards.
Yeah, it took them 14 phases, and it's the best rugby we've seen from them all afternoon. Nice pass over the top, and it's a really good finish. Little fend there, and Shegan gets to the outside. He will have enjoyed that.
good ball from Byrne, isn't it? But I think Daly just had in his mind, oh, I had one interception, I'll go for another. He just overcommits. If he holds there, I think they've got numbers with Shegan on his inside, but really nice footwork to pick them both off. Timed his catch onto the ball and how he then shaped his line perfectly.
You can see why he's playing for England under 20s at just 18 years of age. Osborne pops over the kick, and that's all she wrote. A bleak Christmas for Gloucester, a modicum of comfort supplied at the death by Will Knight's try, but more uncomfortable questions dogging George Skivington. Saracens have stopped the rot. 3 Gallagher PREM losses on the bounce come to a crashing end, with plenty of crashing from Tom Willis and company. Maximum points on the road, and Saracens roar back to winning ways to round off 2025. The full-time score at Kingsholm: Gloucester 21, Saracens 30.